Tonight's topic is 2500 Center Road. So before we really dive into that topic, let's do a little interactive audience participation here, right? There were notices that were sent out to the homes. These notices were sent out with very cryptic information, technical terms that weren't explained. So I'd like to know from the audience, raise your hands if you know these terms that are up here. HUD, who's heard of that? So about a third of you, half of you? It's the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. How about this one? Residential Service Facility. Who's heard that? Raise your hands high. I've heard of it. Okay, about 8 of us. A residential service facility was put on the notice. They're going to build a 162-unit residential service facility in our neighborhood, and nobody understood what that meant. A residential service facility essentially is a facility that provides custodial care to persons who, because of physical, mental, or emotional disorders, are not able to live independently. So what does that mean? That's a home for people that need help. That's what it is. You do not have to be homeless to live in a residential service facility either. That's a big distinction. However, in the case of 2500 Center Road, this is a homeless facility. A 100% chronically homeless facility for single individuals. A CUP. Who knows what that is? It's not a cup. It's a CUP. Hands, 2, 3. 3 people. There's what? Maybe 100 of us here. 3 people know what CUP is. This is the problem with the notices that were sent out. It's a conditional use permit. So what is a conditional use permit, right? It allows for noticing to begin. It's very important in land use decisions. It's required for churches, places that are open past midnight, and for residential service or care facilities. They must maintain the health and safety of the community, be compatible with existing uses in the area, and state law requires an environmental analysis for each CUP. Those of you coming in the back, there's plenty of seating up here. Come on up here, there's tons of seating. Now, this is written, the proposed location will not adversely affect the peace, health, or safety, will not impair the utility or value of property, and it will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or general welfare. Those are the conditions for a CUP to be authorized and granted. Remember that as we go through this. It's a scam. There's a lot, and I apologize. Chronically homeless, who knows that definition? Sir, right here in the blue, what is the definition of chronically homeless?
I'd like to hear your definition of it.
No problem, sure. Chronically homeless. It's an unaccompanied homeless individual with a disabling condition. Okay, it's a person who's been continuously homeless for over a year, or over the past 3 years has had 4 stints of homelessness. It's a person who has been sleeping in a place not meant for habitation, such as that utility locker in the ball field. It's a disabling condition, and it's defined as a diagnosable substance use disorder, a serious mental illness, a chronic physical disability or illness, and it has to be disabling to the point where the individual cannot work or perform one of life's basic functions. And these definitions come from HUD, from their website. A vesting condominium tentative map for 2 agencies. I jumped the gun, I apologize. How many of you knew what this was before I hit the button though? Not one person. Okay. Essentially, if you have a lot of land and you want to divide it into 2 lots, you need one of these. This was on all the flyers. Well, it was on 2 of the flyers, I think. 2 or 3 of the flyers that went out to homes. Vesting condominium tentative map for 2 airspace. I have no clue what that was until I found the definition. Supportive housing is a combination of housing and services intended as a cost-effective way to help people live more stable lives. Housing first. We gave the definition in the beginning. Who remembers it? You remember it?
Yeah, vaguely. It's providing housing without any stipulation with regards to sobriety or any other thing. It's just housing first.
Very good. Very good. Just find someone on the street, identify them, get them in a home. Get a roof over their head. That's exactly what it is. No demonstration of sobriety. Do not have to agree to attend a alcohol rehab, drug rehab, or a vocational seminar. for sessions. Don't need to. No completion of alcohol or drug treatment either. Low barrier admissions. They screen in rather than screen out, so if you have a criminal history, it's no problem. Practices and policies prevent lease violations. So if you're housed through Housing First, it's almost impossible to get evicted unless you commit a physical crime, a violent crime. Using alcohol or drugs is not a violation in itself. Yet we're placing a facility like this in our residence, in a residential area. Remember that, that's the key portion here. An ordinance-sized tree is just a tree that's 56 inches in diameter. 26 of them were removed from 2500 Center Road. PQP, public quasi-public, that was on a notice as well. That allows for the building of a publicly serving use. A church, a hospital, an airport, a sports stadium. And SEEK was the California Environmental Quality Act. It just gives protections for the environment. So now, we're here. Why are we against this facility? Why is Center Monterey Neighborhood Association against this? This is the background. It's really messy. So, I tried to do this to make it a little bit nicer. In 1977, a church was built. Director Lee, in the back. So in 1977, the church was built. But in October 2015, it was demolished. And 54 trees were removed. 20 of those were ordinance sized. And the neighbors had no clue what was going on. Nobody knew. Why didn't they know? Because Charities Housing, the applicant, had not submitted a CUP, a conditional use permit. And because of that, they were unable to notify the public. So once that was filed, 2 months after the church was demolished in December, this notice was placed. However, this notice contained wrong information. It stated that 15 trees would be removed. In actuality, it was 26 ordinance sized. Also, this notice is not in Vietnamese or Spanish. Our area has a lot of Vietnamese and Spanish only speaking individuals. How are they supposed to know what's happening by driving past this sign? Public meetings took place. They were noticed, people received the notifications in the mail. And our city council unanimously approved this project. This is how the site has looked ever since. Non-compliance with Policy 630. Who knows what Policy 630 is? One? Anyone else? Two? Anyone else? 2 people. Of about 100. Policy 630. The City Council wants us to know what's going on. Our city wants us to know. They want us to be informed from the very beginning. They want us to have a baseline protocol for establishing communication early and frequently. This project was classified as a significant community interest proposal. Why is that important? There's a standard, a very small, a large, and this is the largest significant community interest proposal. So this is Policy 630. How far do they have to send out messages to residents within an area of a project? Well, it's a little small, I'm sorry. 1,000 feet. Significant community interest. So if you live within 1,000 feet of 2500 Center Road, you had to receive a notification. Also, in green, down here, public hearing notices should be mailed a minimum of 21 days prior to the hearing for significant community interest proposals. 21 days, 3 weeks. Language. These notifications need to be entirely translated out of English into Spanish and into the dominant language of the area. What is that? Vietnamese in our case. So these notifications need to be translated completely from English to Spanish and Vietnamese. And the languaging notice should not contain language that is difficult to read. It should have concise and plain terms. Technical terms should be limited and they should be explained. The The project description should include sufficient detail to convey to the general public the nature of the proposed development. So why am I bringing this all up? Because we're going to look at the notices that were sent out to the residents. We're going to see if they fell within the right radius, 1,000 feet. We're going to see if they were translated into Spanish and into Vietnamese. We're going to see if people understand what the notice is actually telling them, if technical terms were used. Okay? First notice. Small, sorry. Public hearing notice. It says here, January 26, 2016, City Council, Chambers. Okay, it's mailed December 15th. So that seems like it's 21 days before. Seems like they're on track. It was mailed to 500 feet. Not 1,000. Violation number 1. PQP, CEQA. Remember, nobody knew what those terms were in here. How many remember what those terms mean? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. 3. Now, in orange here, that's Vietnamese. In green, that's Spanish. What does that say? That says for information in Spanish or Vietnamese, call this number. Well, why would you call that number if you don't know what the rest of the flyer is saying? You wouldn't. That's wrong. Technical terms. 500-foot notification. Not translated into Spanish and Vietnamese entirely. But it looks like they got it out on time. December 15th, right? Wrong. They didn't mail it until January 14th. So January 14th, how many days before January 26th is that? 12, right? And we needed what, 21? This notice, it's in complete violation of policy 630. Not one thing on it. Follow city council policy. Right? We should be angry about this. We are. Here's another notification. Community meeting. The requirements here are a little different. Not translated into Spanish and Vietnamese entirely. Still. Here they have in pink here. 6:30 to 7:30 for this meeting. An hour-long time. Discuss this entire project. I think that Kathy actually ended up extending it. I think she did, but initially an hour is not long enough. And she knows she figured that out. And she allowed the community to have a longer meeting. That was good. But still, these terms here, residential service facility. Let's see a show of hands of people who remember what that means from the beginning. A handful. All right. To allow the demolition of a church and removal of 26 ordinance-sized trees. When was that church and trees demolished? When were they removed? They were removed in 2015, right? Yeah, 2015. 5 months before this notice was put out, October 2015. Illegally. Not noticed. Wrong. No Vietnamese or Spanish on the back either. Here's another one for the Planning Commission meeting where this project was approved. What do you think? You think it was mailed out on time? They got the mailing notice right, 1,000 feet. Good job. They fixed one thing. Is this translated into Spanish and Vietnamese? No. No, it's not. It's not. Technical terms are used. Vesting condominium tentative map for 2 airspace. What is that? What is that?
Air Force 2 flies over.
Nobody knows what was on this message. They received this notice. Not once does it say homeless facility. Not once does it say to house chronically homeless on here. It doesn't say it. It uses technical terms that nobody understands. Nobody can read. People will see this and throw it away, even if they speak English, because they don't know what it means. That's a problem. That's a problem with our planning department. Oh, they didn't mail it out in time. I'm sorry. Yeah. April 11th. 16 days. 16 is less than 21. Oops. that what they say? Oops? It's wrong. This is our neighborhood we're talking about. You can't have an oops like this. One final notice. Is it translated into Spanish or English? Or Vietnamese, excuse me. It's not. There's one line. One line. But you know what they did change? They changed the word from allow a church to be demolished to legalize. I think they realized they made a boo-boo. A big one. Technical terms. Right here. Residential service facility. What is it? Still don't know. Can they send us a fact sheet or a definition sheet? That would be nice. They didn't. They didn't explain anything. But they did get it mailed out on time, finally. They got it mailed out. They're trying, I guess. Remember, none of the notices were translated into Spanish or Vietnamese. The notices, for the most part, were not mailed out on time. These notices not once used the word homeless, chronically homeless. They did not convey what was being built, what was going to be placed in our neighborhood. They never showed the true intent of the project. So how is it the public is supposed to know? Does the city council really want us to be aware of what's going on in our area? Or is that just a check the box? Now, with noticing, there's also a state noticing policy. The state requires that notices go out 300 feet before any land use. So how is that possible if no notices were sent out? So in the Planning Commission, sorry, there's purple up here, you might not be able to read it, but I'll read it for you. In yellow it says, the applicant demolished a church, associated accessory buildings, and removed 20 ordinance-sized trees without permits. The applicant, which in this case would be Charities Housing, claims they did not know permits were required. When I mentioned that Kathy is a good person, I think that she knew the permits were required. So in the planning department, they confirmed that it wasn't Charities Housing, it was the county of Santa Clara that did this. The county of Santa Clara demolished this church and removed these trees without telling us. So I asked the planning department clarification. She sent me this email from Kathy Robinson. It's small, I'll read it. It seems to me that approval of a CUP, which allows buildings to be demolished that were already demolished, would raise questions as to why demolition occurred before the CUP was granted. She's absolutely right. There's a lot of questions. Why did that happen? Why was that allowed to happen? It shouldn't have happened. Never should have happened. So I followed up with planning again. So this confirms no noticing was done of any kind prior to the demolition of church and tree removal. Of course, because no CUP was on file. That's a violation of state law. 300-foot notification. We should be finding Ashkara, Jim Bell, all of our representatives. We should be writing them letters. This is wrong. This is wrong.